keep going back to 3 years ago when we got the Security Prosperity Partnership North American Union documents when Judicial Watch sued and got them. And they say in there, we're going to use border crises as a way to merge the North American continent. We're going to let it get worse and worse. And what was Senator Kyle told by Barry Obama a few months ago, Mr. Sotaro, the fake president, said, I'm not going to fix that problem down there. I want it to be bad to get amnesty. Well, you're still going to have the drug smuggling and the coyotes and people that don't want to go through the amnesty route. I mean, this is how these people come into the country. And we are a nation of immigrants, and I'm all for people being able to come into the nation, but we have brown berets. Another video that surfaced last night, we're going to play a clip of it coming up here in a few minutes, where they come out to protest against the open borders in Arizona and California, and they say, hey, white people, you're not supposed to be here. You're Europeans. Go back to Europe. And this woman, looks like she's almost completely Spanish. I mean, she's as European as anybody else. And she's saying, go back to Europe, you Europeans. And the woman looks like she's Spanish. Looks like she has very little Indian blood in her. And look, I don't care if you're Indian. I don't care if you're Spanish. I don't care if you're Chinese, German, whatever. As long as you're not a socialist, as long as you're not anti-gun. In fact, let's play that short clip and get Glenn Spencer's take on it. This was shot just a few days ago. Here it is.
Back to Europe! This is America! Look your color! Your white! You don't belong here! Back to Europe! Back to Europe! Yes, man! I'm Mexican! This was a Mexican land! And it's still a Mexican land because I here remain! I here remain! This is a Mexican land because I'm here remain! I'm Mexican! So what?
Did you get yourself here? I'm not familiar with what group you guys are with.
Brown Berets.
Oh, okay.
No, I paid for that uniform. You know, Brown Berets is a historical organization.
Okay.
It's a racist organization.
Just symbolic.
You can watch the whole video. We got it linked on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. And I've seen the Brown Berets and other groups in L.A. Famous video with the image of police with their heads cut off with blonde hair, blue eyes, saying, kill the gringos. And it's just ongoing. And I've protested the Klan and I've protested these groups. And they're all big foundation funded, government funded. It just comes out over and over again to get us all at each other's throats. But the issue is, does this woman not know that Spain is as European as it gets? It's one of the oldest countries in Europe. That's who colonized Latin America. That's Cortez came in and overthrew Montezuma and all of that craziness that was going on. And, my issue here is that you heard her say, this is Mexico, get out of here. Well, there were 6 flags over Texas. There were 4 flags over California, or 5 flags. It was actually a Russian flag at one time. 4 flags that have flown over Arizona. And so to claim because Mexico had a few missions there, it belongs to Mexico, why would people want to leave Mexico and come here if they want to make this Mexico and that system of government? And then we've got another map I'm going to put up and get Glenn Spencer's comments on. This is from American Patrol. We'll give you those websites. We're one of the best sources for real intel of where many of these Border Patrol sectors are over 100 miles apart. Look at that one in southwest Texas. That's got to be more than 100 miles away from the one in southern New Mexico. In fact, there's 1 for New Mexico. There's 2 for Arizona. They're almost 80 miles to 100 miles off the border. There's 1 for Nevada, 2 for California. And one of the biggest citizen complaints is that they're getting harassed. That's one of my problems with what Arizona's doing. I support it, but that is the problem, that the police in a lot of these sanctuary cities are going to use this as an excuse to harass citizens no matter what color they are. But that's a lot of issues I threw out, Glenn Spencer. First, give us your websites, and then let's get into the Brown Berets.
All right, AmericanPatrol.com is my personal website, my blog, and then the nonprofit website is AmericanBorderPatrol.com. I've been up against the Brown Berets for years. 10 years ago, I produced a documentary called The Conquest of Aztlan. And here I didn't just quote some jerks with the Brown Berets. I quoted the President of Mexico. I quoted the co-founder of the Mexican-American Legal Defense and Education Fund, who said California is going to be a Hispanic state, and anybody who doesn't like it should leave. I quoted Art Torres, then head of the California Democrat Party. He said Prop 187, that was the one that tried to stop funding for illegal aliens in California. He said that was the last gasp of white America in California. Did the mainstream media ever pick it up? No. They don't want you to know that. They don't want anybody to know. 3 weeks ago, the Arizona Republic went to produce a map of where the fence is on the border. They produced a great big map, but down a tiny little print down at the bottom, it says the source for map and fence data, American Border Patrol. We're the only organization that has actually gone out and taken pictures and mapped where the fence is. You can see it on our website. We're the only organization that will fly along and show you that this deployment of National Guard on the border is a joke. It's a joke. And even Bonner, the former head of Customs and Border Protection, said it's a joke. But they're going to make a big hay out of it. We're going to send all these 1,250 National Guard to the border. That will give you about 30 lookout stations along the entire border. And when they wanted a dog and pony show with their National Guard at Yuma, when President Bush down there, they had 14 stations right along the river when he went there. They'll have a total of 30 National Guard lookout spots.
And they show the American people this video and go, look, the border is secure. Meanwhile, it's Wild West.
They had them stacked up along the river. Almost half of all of the National Guard that were deployed under Bush were right at the Colorado River. We have pictures of every one of them. It's a joke. The whole thing is a joke. The head of Customs and Border Protection, person, he doesn't even know where the Border Patrol is or where they're not. They lied to him. It is a lot. One of our buddies, he has these trail cameras, okay, and they've been making a deal out of this in some of the media lately. 700, he got pictures of 700 people going up on one trail in 40 days. I flew to see Fox News. He and I and the Fox News reporter went out. He showed where it was. There were all kinds of trails, hundreds of them, just like it. So it is open. The Border Patrol is not on the border. They're backstop it. They're lying through their teeth. They will not enforce the border. They will try to stop anybody who will try.
Well, Glenn, here's another point. We're always told, give our rights up, have federalization of police, have military checkpoints, do all this inside the country. And then meanwhile, the border is still basically wide open.
Absolutely.
And we're not just saying, I mean, we knew 5 years ago, as you said, Mexico was collapsing. Now it's officially a failed state. It's totally lawless, disintegrating. And I had a state senator on, one of the leaders of the committee last year, who said, quietly, martial law has been declared on the Texas border with Homeland Security, but they don't want the public to know that. They're worried about Mexico completely collapsing into the U.S. And you'd said this years ago that Mexico was going to collapse. A, how did you know that? B, give us your future trends forecast as one of the leading researchers out there on the ground. What do you see happening?
Well, what our government is so frightened of is that if they crack down on the border, there's going to be complete chaos. And there could be a major border incident. And this is the scenario that I see unfolding. There could be a major border incident, especially in El Paso, where there's a major shootout. And lots of people killed. And then I'd see a kind of a Rodney King-type riot spreading through places like Los Angeles and along the border. So,
well, the illegals, the Mexican mafia is already saying kill Sheriff Babu and others that are trying to enforce the law. So we could see the same type of terrorism, and that is terrorism going on in Mexico, if anything's terror, where they go and kill U.S. embassy people. It's already happening to send a message.
Right. Yeah, that's right. And so, but I see this ending up in major civil unrest inside the United States.
And what's the trigger? Mexican troops or cartels?
Could be anything.
Kill a bunch of our police, then finally our police kill a bunch of them, and then the war's on.
That's it.
Well, the politically correct people just say that we're supposed to lay down and die, and that this is good, and it'll be our fault when the La Reconquista, La Invasora burns down half the country.
As I said, you know you're being invaded until you try to stop it. The people are demanding that we secure our borders. There is going to be a backlash against that, and it's going to be serious. And our government knows it. That's why they're so frightened of the issue. It could have been taken care of years ago, but they kept putting it off, delaying the inevitable, and now it's going to be much, much worse to clean this thing up.
Well, Glenn, as the world goes into a depression, as crime spikes, and the only real crop Mexico's got other than drugs and money laundering is tourism. That's dying right now because the police themselves will kidnap you and extort money. That was even in the Wall Street Journal yesterday. So as Mexico sinks into oblivion, it's only a matter of time until the refugee numbers even increase higher. And then as our states go into bankruptcy, 46 of them on the verge of bankruptcy, according to Bloomberg's analysis. I mean, it's only common sense we've got to protect the country and stop this. And so I see the Depression only exacerbating this.
Absolutely. And believe me, Obama will not protect that border. If anything, he's trying to figure out a way to grant blanket amnesty without going through Congress. He'll give them de facto amnesty by not enforcing the law, and that's why he is so opposed to the Arizona law. Because the Arizona law suggests that there could be immigration reduction, illegal immigration reduction through attrition.